Hi gang, it's Jim McHenry from the Gettysburg, Pennsylvania Square. I'm in my car right this second. It is 17 degrees. Oh no, now it's up to 21. Yay! 21 degrees here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. I'm going to do my annual, or not annual, weekly climate change protest. This is number 11. Presently, the CO2 level has gone up again, hit a new record. Mauna Loa does not accept that, even though they're the ones that posted it. And that it briefly hit close to 416 parts per million. It seems to be averaging about 413, 412 parts per million right now. 414 was the previous record, so it's pushing 416, 415.85. As I said the weeks before, this means nothing to most people, but the significance of it is that humans supposedly cannot survive above 350 parts per million and keep civilization intact. So right now it's at 416, 350 survivability for basically for all of humanity to keep the 8.5 billion people alive. So we're way past any extreme allowances for survivability. So what that does is it creates more, it's a greenhouse gas, it creates more heat in the atmosphere once the sun penetrates through and does not escape. It's kind of like pulling a blanket over yourself when you have a fever, and you keep pulling more and more blankets on, and that won't help you break the fever. You're just going to die because it gets too hot. So that has feedback loops, which creates more water vapor from the oceans. They heat up and put more water in the air. The oceans are absorbing 93% of all the heat that's coming in. So without the oceans, we'd be cooked alive, basically, and then everyone would be croaked. So what you need to know about climate change is that the CO2 level, it's at 414, just say that, 415. The Arctic then melts more, which totally disrupts the jet stream. The more Arctic sea ice that gets lost, the more disruptive the jet stream is, because there's less of a difference between the tropics and the Arctic Ocean. So what that does is cause the jet stream to become more wavy. You get this weather whipping. For instance, today the high is in the 20s or 30s, and then on Sunday, 2 days from now, it's going to be 65 degrees. So what will happen is the buds will come out on the trees, most likely, because now it's March. They'll think it's spring, and then all of a sudden, for 3 days, it'll stay warmer, and then all of a sudden we'll get whipped back into 30-degree temperature and kill off the buds from the trees and the plants that are growing. So we're real big on orchards around here, so it really hurts the farmers that way. It rains and snows every 2-3 days, so the fields are a total muck pile. I haven't spoken with any farmers around here, but other than orchard growers. But I really suspect that they're going to have real trouble getting into the fields, and if they do plant, the plants will die and be suffocated due to excessive moisture. So you need to know CO2 level. The oceans in the Arctic are becoming ice-free. In the summer, they very well might become partially ice-free, almost totally ice-free, which is a blue water event, which will be devastating. It allows feedback loops again up there, which is less sea ice, more heating, less sea ice. Also, methane is underneath the surface of the ocean, which is fairly shallow around the Russian borders. So it allows methane to escape, which is the worst greenhouse gas possible. And if it has a 50 gigaton burst, our temperatures will spike instantly, but I mean over 6 months, and we'll have a devastating effect of that. Presently, I don't expect anyone out today. It's too cold. It's 20 degrees out. But it is utterly amazing to me that no one is turning out for rallies in the United States, let alone Gettysburg, PA. But the United States is really bad with this. They're not acknowledging what's happening. We're totally oblivious. It's almost like we're all on drugs. Is it fluoride? I don't know, or whatever. They're almost mind controlled and media controlled, that they don't want to explore anything. We tout ourselves as one of the smartest nations on earth, but we're not. Presently in Europe, they're having massive protests with students. It's not being reported on the BBC or Euronews. You have 30,000 kids at a time turning out in Brussels, Belgium, several thousand in England. It's all of Europe, basically Italy, France, and yet it's not being reported by the news. It is basic collusion, it's criminal behavior, it's crimes against humanity. We're, as a civilization, an Earth civilization, we're in deep trouble. I don't know how we're going to survive once this stuff starts happening, as far as not being able to grow food, let alone the heat, drought, flood, famine, everything like that. So I wish people would turn out and become interested. They're still stuck in this, you watch Facebook, and for the most part, you're stuck in these, pretty pictures of your cat and your dog, which is wonderful. But you're not going to have a cat or dog in a few years. You're not going to have a kid because you won't be able to feed the child. This is horrible to say this stuff, but it's a fact, and we need to grow up. The United States needs to grow up in a hurry and face reality. This is a world war situation we're in, and people just laugh it off, or I'll go stand out here in another 10 minutes and people yell it's a hoax, or have some sort of weird thing to say, and it's not a good thing. They're showing their ignorance and lack of science ability. We have teachers in town that should be posting nothing but science articles. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a scientist. I'm one who has time, because I retired, to analyze different broadcasts and everything, but people need to get on board. The teachers need to get on board. The college students in town need to become irate as to what is going to happen. They're not going to have a future. 7 years from now, I can't imagine how bad it's going to be, and that's 2026. This presidential election coming up, Democrat or Republican, I see no one that's really so far out there concerning climate change, it won't make a difference. Everyone talks about this Ocasio-Cortez lady who's saying she's so radical and everything, but she's not. She should be looked upon as a centrist as far as actions concerning climate change. People aren't understanding the severity of the situation. It's just way off the charts. So I hope people start. Everyone's got a free pass this week right here in Gettysburg, but not around the USA and not around the world, of course. But you need to get out. You need to start talking to your friends. You need to start putting pressure on politicians. Do your little things around the house. Take less vacations. Dig up your yard. Don't go mowing the grass this summer like nut jobs. Dig it up. Put in a garden out front. Put plants in. Do something. Take a walk in the woods. Understand what's happening to nature. We were just in Catoctin Forest yesterday for a walk, and the forest is being destroyed. I mean, they must have lost a third of the trees. It used to be really thickly forested, and the trees have died, I guess, due to excessive wetness and the oak beetle that is attacking the oak trees. So I hope people get out soon. I'm trying to be more positive about this, but it's really hard in this town, in this country, to watch what's happening. I watch the news every night just hoping they'll get to it, but they're not. So it's really criminal collusion. I'm very proud of Europe. I'm very proud of Africa now. You got people in Uganda now that are protesting for on Fridays. Tasmania, Hong Kong, Japan. I mean, it's crazy. And the United States has 3 people, or 4 maybe. Has me, a girl in New York, a girl in Denver, and a girl in Maryland. And that's it. 4 people. Now, my wife will come out and help when she can, and she's not working. And is that it? That's the United States. That's how smart we are as a country. You got 4 people out of 350 million that are concerned about what's happening. So, the students need to get out. Everyone needs to start putting pressure on the politicians. So hope to see everyone next week. The big climate change rally for the whole world is March 15th for Friday. And it's going to be a worldwide event. And I suspect the United States will fall short, as they always do, because we're very self-absorbed. But it's a worldwide event, March 15th, student protest. And this isn't just about the students. It has to be the gray hairs and minorities and people that are infirm, because you need to put the pressure on the politicians and the police not to bust up these rallies. Okay, so you need people that are of different outlooks, men, women, everything. The young guys having a rally is great, but it's scary for people. They won't turn out. You need people that are accepted, and a wide variety of people that can absolutely influence the course of events. So we need not just 2 people out here in Gettysburg. We need dozens on each street corner. It needs to be an event, a wide event here in town, and wide event around the whole country and world. So March 15th is a big rally, so hopefully it'll turn out to be massive around the world. The United States will hopefully get on board, but I really suspect we're not, based on number of cars and the type of cars we're driving, just SUVs and trucks all the time. Truck, SUV, that's all I see here. So talk to you again next week. I'm doing it hopefully 11 o'clock. This is an early one, 7:45 to 8:45. Okay, see you next week. Glad you hung in there with me. Bye.